So if you watched the first live stream, I had to stop real quick because I had a family emergency. Won't get into that, but it was kind of crazy. All right, fixed it, done. Okay, we're back again. We're talking about the best mixer to buy to start your career off with return on investment, real cash from clients, and being able to perform your job in live streaming or podcasting 3 years down the road, 4 years down the road. Let me show you the one I think is the best one to start off with. I'm going to say for under $800, this one, Mackie Creator. I'll keep it simple in less than 30 seconds. $800, really cool. Preset EQs, awesome. Easy setup, pro, enhance, all that, really cool. NDI, we'll get into that in a second, but being able to run audio to your computer via the Ethernet cable is pretty awesome. For live streaming, it's amazing. Auto mix, all the rest of that, they got videos for that. I can get into that a little bit. Four headphone jacks is awesome. The preamps are pretty cool. I do have to say there will be a little bit of hiss if you really, really push them, but I mean, it's cool. Beyond that, they have their own microphones, which are awesome. You know, let's see if I can keep this all under 30 seconds. I'm outside the 30 seconds. And then the output. So I'm going to stay right here for a little bit. So if you are going into live streaming, if you are going into podcasting, and if you are going into hybrids, this system will do the job. And I can't say all the rest of them will, but this one will do the job. Let's talk about these interfaces. This is where the magic comes in, and most people don't realize it does. When it comes to audio boards, let's just start from left to the right. The SD card, that's just key. Being able to record the session in individual tracks and in a master track is super, super awesome. It allows you to do professional work and hand over professional work to your client when you're done with the day. $20. Literally, you can charge, say, an investable rate. Let's just say you decide to make your investment rate between $50 and $300 an hour for a client. And then you say, you just need to bring me a $20 SD card. That's all you need. They can record their session, and then you hand it off, and they can go do what they need to do. That's starting off making a living. Thumb drive, same thing. The next input looks like a computer input. Now, this is where things get kind of really, really cool. In the future, you will see more and more of these Ethernet NDI network camera setups. They're becoming more and more popular, and the term is NDI. And really all that means is sending audio over Ethernet, and it's really awesome, and you can control a lot of things with it. That is key. The next input is a computer input. It's not just an input, it's an input-output, which means you can get the channels from your computer and also send the channel to your computer. So it's a two-way system. I really love that. If you need to throw audio onto the live stream, you can use a computer, you can use a Bluetooth. There's also an option for Bluetooth that doesn't show it on there. There's an auxiliary jack input, which is really cool. And then you'll see 4 headphone jacks. Depending on how you're approaching this, if we're just talking podcasts and live streams, everybody got their headphones on like we do here. So let me show you how I look here with my headphones on. And I don't have my producer with me tonight, so it's just me as usual. So I got the headphones on, got the microphone going, and I got that podcast look. This is really nice, having the headphones for podcasts and for live streaming, because you may have somebody doing like the Joe Rogan style. The other piece that's really, really amazing about this is down the road, if you turn this into a live streaming career, still using just this audio board, you can have a producer listening to whatever mix they want to. So say, for instance, they just want to listen to the music that's coming in that's off of the video, and they want to hear only one of the presenters. You can do a mix minus specifically per headphone. Let them do that. That's a lot of talk on one piece. Then you see the output. You see that where it shows those speakers? You can actually run a nice pair of speakers in a room and do an output of whatever you like to that mix. And the fact that they made that possible is really cool because I didn't think that was going to be possible. I like it. It's pretty cool and all in general. Then your inputs. So you got line inputs, which is nice. You've also got a total of 4 XLR inputs, and those inputs allow you to put microphones, condenser microphones, and all the rest. So let me kind of go back over here. I forgot to switch that around. Man, I talked all that there and didn't even show you. Okay. So the next inputs, I'm just going to go rapid on this. You're going to have headphone jack input, computer input, those 4 headphones, and the speaker outs and the XLRs. Sorry, I don't have my producer with me. I'm just looking at this tonight, so please forgive me. I'm making some mistakes. You know, it helps to have a producer instead of trying to do multi-scene by yourself. Anyway, these inputs do make a huge difference. The last 4 of those XLRs can go up almost 80 decibels, which means you can put just about any microphone you want on it. They do have noise gates built into each channels. They have a lot of positive to it. The big question is, why am I bringing up the DLZ Creator? I'm bringing it up because 2 reasons. Number 1, we do a lot of teaching for live streaming. Our industry right now is in the hybrid mode, which means we're going to be doing engagements with podcasts, live streams, and the combination of the 2. We're going to be doing a lot of in-room sound reinforcement along with capturing audio later for later use. And it's getting to be competitive to find good audio gear to make that happen. And we also want to make it possible for the ones we're teaching to jump into the audio field and AV field and not feel like they're left out. And mainly, you know, we do need better audio on live streams because the biggest thing that we run into in most cases is you can't even get, you know, that into a live stream cleanly, just sound. Let me get some of this in there. It just doesn't come in clean. Sounds kind of muddied and all that. Or we would have, you know, feedback on the microphone if we happen to have mics and speakers in the same room. And we need to have more capability. This also has the ability to run with anything that's XLR, which I love. So sometimes we have to bring in additional audio and we use a digital interface to switch it over to XLR, which is a line level. And then we can put those in 2 of those slots or 1 of those slots, and there's your audio. But with this, and we usually do it with computers or iPads. With this, I can have a computer connected to it. That computer can then send audio back and forth, like what it's doing today. Like I have no regular auxiliary jack in here, and the audio comes back to the system and goes onto the live stream, which is really nice. So like I'm a video playing on the computer, I don't need to bring in a DI, and it's easier to work with. As future upgrades come, and you really, really are getting technically savvy, you would think that this $800 investment would be, well, collecting dust. And in most cases, you know, those boards would be. But I think the one piece that's going to kind of set this board apart for the dollar amount is going to be the NDI. And NDI is important for someone like me because we do a lot of Ethernet work for our live streams. For example, we have 2 PTZ cameras that are the Canon N300s. We also have the Canon P100 controller, a laptop that controls it. Everything's powered over PoE, which is power over Ethernet. And being able to bring this in via the Ethernet cord would just simplify a lot of the mess, and I wouldn't have a whole lot of cables, and I'd really be sitting at the desk with only 5 cables. And I can pretty much do all the audio I want. So for example, I can have a Bluetooth to a phone, which is what I'm doing right now, for the extra audio from a video that's in the computer, and then also running through the whole system. And a lot of this sounds like gibberish to everybody else. And I don't blame you. I mean, I'll be real. Most of it is gibberish. When I talk to clients, like today, I had a nice walkthrough with a client, and we were talking about all the stuff that's envisionable, which is something where they can touch and play with it, from the items that we're going to have for the event, to the number of tables, to seeing a band there. That's all seemed cool. And I get it. It's much easier when you can actually physically, tangibly touch something and go, that makes sense. But the more and more we talked, I had to then bring up the sound. And there's where things got a little bit kind of, because most people don't understand how sound works. So I had to explain that we had to bring in 10 different speakers, not including the speakers that's going to be with the band, to fill the auditorium, get the sound that they need, have what they call the voice of God, which is speakers way out in the middle of nowhere that everybody can hear from everywhere, and have different sound in different parts of this building. Now, we're going to be able to run this from one board, which is nice. It'll be an M32. But this board right here is the step to getting you into learning how to use an M32 or how to use an Allen & Heath. And, mixed minuses, sub buses, things like that are important for your career. This board gives you the capability of learning it, and you'll have a high level of equipment. So NDI is going to be on there. You're going to have multi-channel. Come on, where did everything go? There we go. You have multi-channel. So each one of these, channel 1 through 4 are going to be your microphones. 5, 6 can be whatever you want it to be. 7, 8 is going to be where you want it to be. And 9, 10 is whatever you want it to be. So what I mean by that is it can be Bluetooth. It can be the SD card. It can be just about anything you need it to be. And you're going to have to learn how to work this way if you're going to be an audio engineer or if you're going to be in live streaming. And on top of that, if you really want your team to be set apart from everybody else's team, you've got to have an audio engineer and a technician who can handle doing the audio portion. Because it makes up about 70% of what clients are looking at and what they want when it comes to live streams. Because eventually, most of the times, they're just listening to them. Live streams become like podcasts, and they're really interested in what's going on. But if you really aren't, paying attention to the audio side, it can be a real pain. And learning it can be expensive. I mean, investing in a $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 audio board and not having the fundamentals down and not having an opportunity to play around with something like one of these Mackie creators, DLZ creators, you're kind of like toast. And to be fair with you, to get something that has NDI in it for under $1,000, actually for under $2,000, that's actually really good. We have an L20 board that costs, I think, originally like $1,100, and we use that for a lot of the work we do for live streaming. If we're not going to have front of house, it works really good. But this actually has better preamps, and it's a couple $100 less. Now, it doesn't have as many channels, but in most cases, we're running 4 channels, maybe 6, and that covers everything here, which is super nice. And you don't have any issues. Plus, we need a couple of headphone jacks out because we need to be able to have a producer listening, an audio engineer listening, and then we have somebody who's on the stream that's monitoring. And they will switch between the headphones that they have in their ears and the ones that are coming out the system to verify what sound they're hearing. And long and short of it is, if you're looking for a good start audio board to start your career, and you want to get return on investment or real money from clients, this is the way to go. So that being said, it's been good to be online with y'all. I want y'all to have a good evening, and I will try to start doing some podcasts at like 10 or 11, but I honestly don't think I'm going to do that, because at that time there, I'm talking to clients about their day and what they need and what their services are. And 1 o'clock, I was doing a walkthrough. So, I'll do my best to make some changes. Well, that's if I have time away from doing work, and I like my work. So maybe just start looking for me in the evening. I'll catch y'all later. Peace.